The story of Isaac begins with a promise that seemed almost too good to be true, a promise that defied the natural order of things. It was a promise made by God to Abraham and Sarah, a promise that they would have a son. This promise was not just any promise, it was a divine covenant, a sacred vow that would change the course of history. God promised Abraham and Sarah a son. This seemed impossible. They were old. Abraham was 100 years old and Sarah was 90. Their bodies were frail and the years had taken their toll. Yet, in the face of this impossibility, God spoke a word of hope. He assured them that they would indeed have a child, a son who would carry forward the legacy of faith. Yet God is a God of miracles. He is not bound by the limitations of human understanding or the constraints of nature. His power transcends all boundaries and His will is sovereign. When He speaks, the impossible becomes possible. His words are not empty, they are filled with life and power. He made the impossible possible. Against all odds, Sarah conceived. Her laughter of disbelief turned into a laughter of joy. The barren woman was now with child, and the promise was becoming a reality. It was a moment of awe and wonder, a testament to the power of God. Isaac's birth was a testament to God's faithfulness. It was a living proof that God keeps His promises. The name Isaac means laughter, a fitting name for a child who brought so much joy and fulfillment. His birth was not just a personal victory for Abraham and Sarah, it was a divine statement to the world. It was a beacon of hope. The birth of Isaac was celebrated not just by his parents but by the entire community. It was a moment of collective joy, a time of festivity and thanksgiving. People gathered to witness the miracle, to share in the joy, and to give thanks to God. Abraham and Sarah had waited years for this promise. They had questioned, they had doubted, but God remained faithful. He had a plan. Even in their moments of doubt and despair, God was working behind the scenes, orchestrating events to fulfill His promise. Their journey was a testament to the importance of faith and patience, and His timing was perfect. God's timing is always perfect. He knows the end from the beginning, and His plans are always for our good. The birth of Isaac came at the appointed time, a time that was divinely orchestrated. It was a reminder that God's delays are not denials, they are part of His perfect plan. Isaac's arrival brought laughter and joy. The once barren home was now filled with the sounds of a newborn, the cries of a baby, the laughter of parents, the joy of a fulfilled promise. It was a time of great rejoicing, a time to celebrate the goodness of God. It was a celebration of God's goodness. The community came together to celebrate this miraculous birth. There were feasts and gatherings, songs and dances. It was a time to remember and to rejoice in the faithfulness of God. The birth of Isaac was a reminder that God is good and His mercy endures forever. Isaac's birth marked the beginning of a new chapter. It was the start of a new era, a new beginning. The birth of Isaac was not just the fulfillment of a promise, it was the beginning of a new lineage, a new nation. It was a pivotal moment in the history of God's people. It was the start of a nation. Isaac was the child of promise, the one through whom God's covenant with Abraham would be fulfilled. He was the beginning of a great nation, a people chosen by God to be a light to the world. His birth was a significant event in the unfolding of God's plan for humanity. God had chosen Isaac to carry His promises. Isaac was not just any child, he was the child of promise. He was the one through whom God's covenant with Abraham would be fulfilled. He was the one through whom the blessings of God would flow to the nations. His life was a testament to the faithfulness of God. He would be a blessing to the world. Isaac's life was a blessing not just to his parents, but to the entire world. Through him, the promises of God would be fulfilled. Through him, the blessings of God would flow to the nations. His life was a testament to the goodness and faithfulness of God. This tiny baby, born against all odds, held the weight of God's plan on his tiny shoulders. Isaac's birth was a miracle, a testament to the power and faithfulness of God. His life was a reminder that God is a God of miracles, a God who keeps His promises, a God who makes a way where there seems to be no way. Isaac's birth was a miracle. It was a divine intervention, a supernatural event that defied the natural order of things. It was a testament to the power of God, a reminder that nothing is impossible for Him. The birth of Isaac was a moment of awe and wonder, a moment that would be remembered for generations to come. It was a testament to God's power. The birth of Isaac was a demonstration of God's power and sovereignty. It was a reminder that God is in control, that He is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think. It was a moment of divine intervention, a moment that showcased the power of God. He is a God who keeps His promises. The birth of Isaac was a reminder that God is faithful, that he keeps his promises. It was a testament to the faithfulness of God, a reminder that his word is true and his promises are sure. The birth of Isaac was a moment of fulfillment, a moment that showcased the faithfulness of God. He is a God who makes a way where there seems to be no way. The birth of Isaac was a reminder that God is able to make a way where there seems to be no way. It was a testament to the power of God, a reminder that he is able to do the impossible. The birth of Isaac was a moment of divine intervention, a moment that showcased the power of God. Isaac's life, from the very beginning, was a testament to this truth. His life was a reminder that God is faithful, that he keeps his promises, that he is able to do the impossible. The birth of Isaac was a moment of fulfillment, a moment that showcased the faithfulness of God. He was a living, breathing reminder of God's faithfulness. Isaac's life was a testament to the faithfulness of God, a reminder that God keeps his promises. His birth was a moment of fulfillment, a moment that showcased the faithfulness of God. Isaac was a living, breathing reminder of God's faithfulness, a testament to the power and goodness of God. God often tests those he loves. These tests are not meant to break us, but to build us up, to strengthen our faith and trust in him. They are like the refining process of precious metals, where impurities are removed and the true value is revealed. He wants their faith to be refined, just as gold is refined in the fire. This process, though painful, is necessary for growth and maturity in our spiritual journey. He wants them to trust him completely, without reservation or doubt. Trusting God means believing in his goodness and his plans, even when we don't understand them. Abraham faced the ultimate test. His faith was put to the most severe trial imaginable. God asked him to sacrifice his son, Isaac. This was not just any son, but the son of promise, the one through whom God had said he would establish a great nation. This was a heart-wrenching command. Imagine Abraham's anguish. He loved Isaac deeply, yet he trusted God. He had learned through his life experiences that God is faithful and true to his word. He knew that God was good. He had seen God's goodness in his life, and he believed that God had a purpose. Even in this difficult command, he believed that God would provide. He didn't know how, but he trusted that God would make a way. With a heavy heart, Abraham obeyed. He packed for the journey, knowing what lay ahead, yet hoping in God's provision. He took Isaac to Mount Moriah. The journey must have been filled with silent prayers and deep contemplation. He prepared to offer him as a sacrifice. Each step, each action, was a testament to his unwavering faith. Just as Abraham was about to strike, an angel stopped him. This divine intervention was a powerful moment of relief and revelation. God provided a ram to take Isaac's place. This provision was a clear sign of God's faithfulness and mercy. Abraham had passed the test. His faith had been proven true and strong. He had proven his unwavering faith. This act of obedience and trust was a defining moment in his relationship with God. This experience deepened Abraham's relationship with God. It was a moment of profound spiritual growth and understanding. It also shaped Isaac's understanding of sacrifice and obedience. He witnessed firsthand the depth of his father's faith and the faithfulness of God. This event demonstrated God's faithfulness. It showed that God is always in control and that he provides for his people. He did not abandon Abraham or Isaac. He protected them. He provided for them. This story is a powerful reminder of God's love and provision. This story reminds us that God will never ask us to do something he won't equip us to handle. He is always with us, guiding and supporting us through every trial. He is always with us even in the most difficult times. His presence is our comfort and his promises are our hope. Let us hold on to our faith, trusting that God is always working for our good. God had a plan for Isaac's life. Part of that plan involved marriage. Abraham wanted to find a suitable wife for Isaac. He sent his servant to his homeland. He sought a woman who would honor God. He wanted someone who would continue the covenant. The servant prayed for guidance. God led him to Rebekah. She was a kind and compassionate woman. She was also a woman of faith. Rebekah agreed to go back with the servant. She trusted God's plan for her life. Isaac and Rebekah's marriage was a testament to God's faithfulness. He had brought them together. He had chosen Rebekah to be Isaac's wife. Their union would continue the lineage of God's chosen people. Through them, God's promises would be fulfilled. This story reminds us that God cares about every detail of our lives. He has a plan for our relationships. He wants us to find partners who will help us grow in faith. He desires to bless our marriages and use them for his glory. Section 4. Blessings amidst barrenness, Isaac's prosperity and peacemaking. Isaac faced numerous challenges throughout his life. He lived in a land plagued by famine, where the earth was dry and unyielding. He struggled to find water and pasture for his flocks, wandering through arid lands in search of sustenance. Yet despite these harsh conditions, God blessed him abundantly. Isaac's wealth grew exponentially. His flocks and herds multiplied, and his influence expanded far and wide. He became a prominent figure in the region, known for his prosperity and wisdom. Despite his immense prosperity, Isaac remained humble. He was a peacemaker at heart, always seeking to avoid conflict and maintain harmony with those around him. He sought harmony with his neighbors, understanding that peace was more valuable than wealth or power. When others tried to take advantage of him, he chose to move on rather than engage in disputes. He dug new wells, creating fresh opportunities for himself and his community. Isaac's life teaches us that God's blessings are not always easy to come by. They often require perseverance and faith. Sometimes blessings come with hardship and trials. But through it all, God remains faithful. He provides for his children, ensuring that their needs are met, even in the most challenging circumstances. He gives us the strength to overcome obstacles and the wisdom to navigate difficult times. God uses our trials to shape our character, to strengthen our resolve, and to draw us closer to Him. Isaac's peacemaking spirit is an enduring inspiration. He showed that true strength lies not in force but in understanding and compassion. He chose to be a bridge builder, not a wall builder. He understood the importance of creating connections rather than divisions. He valued harmony over discord, always striving to bring people together rather than drive them apart. Isaac understood that true strength lies in humility and compassion. He led by example, showing that a humble heart can achieve great things. His example challenges us to be peacemakers in our own lives. In a world often filled with conflict and strife, Isaac's story reminds us of the power of peace and the importance of seeking harmony in all our interactions. Just as Isaac did, we too can choose to be bridge builders, fostering understanding and cooperation in our communities. By valuing peace and practicing humility, we can create a more harmonious world for ourselves and future generations. Let us take inspiration from Isaac's life and strive to be peacemakers, bringing light and hope to those around us. In doing so, we honor the legacy of Isaac and the timeless values he embodied. Isaac's story is a testament to the enduring power of faith, humility, and peace. May we all learn from his example and seek to live lives of prosperity and peacemaking. Section 5. The deception, the blessing, the plan, Jacob, Esau, and God's sovereignty. Isaac and Rebekah had twin sons, Esau and Jacob. Esau was a skilled hunter. He was his father's favorite. Jacob was a quiet homebody. He was his mother's favorite. This created tension in the family. One day, Jacob tricked Esau out of his birthright. He deceived his father into giving him the blessing reserved for the firstborn. This act had lasting consequences. It caused a rift between the brothers. God had a plan, even in the midst of this family drama. He had chosen Jacob to carry on the covenant. This choice was not based on human merit. It was based on God's sovereign will. This story reminds us that God's ways are not our ways. He sees things we don't see. He knows things we don't know. He has a plan, and His plan will prevail. Even when we make mistakes, God can use them for His glory. He can bring good out of difficult situations.